Hello, my name is Mary Coupland, and welcome to The Road Ahead. Through a series of guests, we're going to help you navigate your own road ahead as you age. We will help you and your aging parents prepare for your journey. Let's face it, nobody wants to find themselves in a crisis mode simply because they did not have access to information well in advance. As the publisher of Compass and Clock, we're going to help you achieve your best future. Today, my guest is Daphne Davis, and she is the owner and founder of Pinnacle Senior Placement. Since 2001, Daphne has been helping seniors find that perfect home for their next chapter. Daphne is also an active member of the Association of this is a big one, Senior Referral Professionals of Washington.
Good job.
Thank you. I was going to give you the acronym, but it wouldn't make sense, so that's why I spelt it all out. So, Daphne, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you joined us because I would love for you to educate our viewers on what the Association of Senior Professional Placement of Washington people are all about. What do they do to help, our seniors navigate this next chapter?
I look forward to telling you. And I'm going to use the acronym ASRP as it comes up. So now that you've heard it a couple of times, that it will be able to know what that is. It's been around since 2012. And that's when an RCW and our Act for Vulnerable Adults came into place, where it was going to now regulate placement companies. That's RCW 18.330. And so the ASRP of Washington really focuses on educating not only our placement companies, because we're still relatively new. A lot of people don't know about us from the consumer point of view. Not only do we educate them, but we want to educate consumers also about what they can expect. As we all know, this what we sometimes lovingly call the silver tsunami. A lot of people are here, and a lot of people have, in our entrepreneurial spirits, thought, oh, this might be a way of me having a business, and I hate to say this, but maybe profiting off of that silver tsunami. And so we are here to make sure that the right things are done for our seniors in an ethical and best practices manner. Okay.
And I'm so glad that got put into place, because why shouldn't it be regulated?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Watch out for each other. So with the ASRP, does every senior referral placement agency in the state of Washington have to belong to that group?
Good question, Mary. No, they do not. It is not a mandatory thing. This is a volunteer membership to an association, and it's of the people, the professional referral companies, that have made a public commitment that we are going to uphold RCW 18.330. It is not mandatory. And I will be very forthright. We don't have a funding and a punitive arm of this RCW yet. So we're self-regulating at this point, which is a really important point to make in terms of why ASRP is here, that it is purely about education.
And two things of what you said made me want to tell this to the viewers. One is that Washington was the leader on this, on regulation, so kudos to Washington.
Yes.
And the other one is that I would, if anybody wants to know who the members are, they just simply need to go to the ASRPWA.org website.
Correct.
And they can learn more information than we have time to talk about today, who the members are, what their goals are, etc., in helping our seniors and loved ones.
Correct. This can be used as kind of a litmus for you, or a starting place of figuring out who you want to work with. You'll find all the companies that have chosen, like I said earlier, to publicly say, yes, we are going to uphold this law. They'll be listed there, and that can be, like I said, a kind of a weeding out place for you. Not to say that there aren't other good companies that have not joined our association yet, but it's a place for you to be able to have a checklist, at least to start.
Okay, good info. So you're referring to the Act, the RCW 18330.
Correct.
In my research before sitting down with you today, I briefly took a look at some information online, and there's really 5 strong things that it provides. So can you briefly give us a description of the Act?
Sure. A couple of things that you should get from people that are upholding RCW 18.330 is that they're going to have a disclosure statement, and that you'll actually sign that disclosure statement. That goes over what you can expect from the company. And general statement is they'll do research, they'll gather information from you and your loved ones. Many companies will tour with you, but not all. But they will guide you in terms of what communities of care may be good options for you. That signature just says that you have received this disclosure statement. There'll also be what we call a form that we can obtain and release information. And you, assuming that you're the power of attorney, are giving permission for that agent to just share information that's gathered with potential care providers. No one else can they share that with. So that's a big part of the RCW. We also will gather information, and we have to keep that information on record for 6 years. And so that's another place that if anything happens down the road that we need to have documented information or how things happened, we do have that available to the consumers for 6 years. Referral companies also need to do background checks on all their employees. That's required every 2 years. And within the community of DSHS and finding housing and care, there are many, many areas that we have to have background checks for caregivers, adult family homeowners. It's pretty well regulated in the state of Washington. We also have to have $1 million of insurance. So it kind of steps us up a little bit. Again, that's to protect the consumer.
So each agency
Referral
placement
individually
agent
has to have that information available on their insurance. We also minimally have to have been in or had a conversation with and have a contract with everyone that we do business with that we would refer you to. And so that's to protect you in terms of not ever knowing firsthand what's going on in a particular community. So that has to be updated on an annual basis. So that's another thing that you can expect. This is not a part of the law, but is strongly suggested in the language of the law to have somebody be with you, to have someone right next to you, and not have this being a remote transaction, but more of a relationship transaction, that you actually have a relationship and know that you can trust this person to look out for your loved one.
Was another item on that act having to do with that you should not be referring potential residents, new residents, to a community that is not passing their surveys? And
Yes, within 30 days, and for our company and a lot of referral companies, every time we go into a new community or researching a new community, we are going to do the research to make sure that they're in good standing with the state.
Okay.
So very good question. That is certainly a part of the act, because we want to protect the consumers. Another thing is you should know exactly how the referral company is paid. We are not paid by the consumer themselves. We are paid, broadly stated, kind of like a realtor. And so the communities that we work with, and every referral company will have a different policy in who they work with, they pay our referral fees. A one-time commission is basically what it is, and it comes from their marketing department.
Okay.
So we are an extension of their marketing department. So that's how we're paid, but not by the actual consumer.
Right, so what you're saying is when a family or an individual comes to work with any of the senior referral placement elder care agencies, it's free to sit down with them and talk to them and work with them to help find the best place.
Yes, it's free through the whole process.
Yes. Okay.
Never, I mean, for me, never will a company ever write, or excuse me, a consumer ever write a check to my company.
Gotcha.
Never will that happen. Another thing I want to bring up is that you should know if your financial status is one, or your family's financial status is one that's using Medicaid,
Okay.
we cannot charge for our services at all. So when we are working with someone that has Medicaid as their funding, that's a pro bono service. A lot of us, most of us do that. That's not a ding against you in any stretch. But because it's federal and state monies, we cannot charge for our fees.
Meaning that when you find a home that accepts a Medicaid resident right off the bat, that new senior community that they're moving into will not pay you a referral fee.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly right.
Okay. We are almost out of time, and this is a very important subject. So one item that you did want to talk about was the NPRA, which is at a national level.
Yes, the NPRA is a relatively new organization. It is at the national level, whereas ASRP is at the state level.
Okay.
And so I want to share just a little bit about that, and that's the National Professional and Referral Alliance. And it's a national organization. It's very strong in some other states, and we're just starting to introduce it in the state of Washington. But it's an important piece because they do the legislation and the consumer protection at a national level. So this is something that people within our industry are taking very seriously in terms of protecting our consumers. That's what this is all about.
Well, I think that's wonderful because there are some agencies out there that are national, or they're more than just the state. They might be
Correct.
in 5 states or 10 states, you know, West Coast, et cetera. So.
Yes, yes.
Because we have to wrap up, are there any parting words on the topic of the association that you would like to share with our viewers today?
I sure would. One of the things that's most important and on my heart is that we recognize that seniors are unique individuals and that we don't compartmentalize people off of a piece of paper. The laws that are in place, the companies that are in place are here to serve you and help you make a good buying decision for housing and care if someone can no longer live in their own home. Please be sure to have someone walk with you or a place for you to gather information so that your loved one does not have to move multiple times, but rather continue in the next 7th, 8th, or 9th decade of their life with dignity and honor and safety. This is not something that we want people to be moving around a lot. So reach out and have somebody help you.
Great advice. So as you understand, this whole process can be overwhelming when you're trying to figure out, is it safe for mom and dad to stay at home anymore, or just one of your parents because they might have lost their spouse. So there are companies out there, professionals out there that have your well-being as the first and foremost on their mind, and there's statewide and now nationwide associations and alliances that have been put into place to make sure that you are being taken care of properly. So the website is available for you to take a look at, www.asrpwa.org. And Daphne, thank you so much for joining us today and for educating our viewers. And until the next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.